And one thing about Karis is, in our home, she's the first person that's awake every day. And here's what she does. Tell me about this. You know I'm right about this, Karen. Is the first thing that we are awakened to, we don't need an alarm clock, is Karis comes into our room. She usually plops down in bed right between us, and she is ready to go. Little Miss Sunshine right from the very start. I mean, definitely a morning person. And I am so used to that now. In fact, this morning, sure enough, like clockwork, bam, there she is at the door. She runs in, plops down in bed next to us. There she is. It's amazing. And I'm really getting used to that, and I really, really love that. I would have to say that the worst nightmare that I can think of that would ever happen is if one morning, Karis did not come to the door, and I'm waking up, I'm like, I'm awake, it's 6 o'clock, she's not here. I go down, I look through the house, I don't see her anywhere. I go into her room, she's not in her bed, and I look, and the glass in the window has been broken in the inside, and I realize somebody has taken her. That is the worst thing I can think of. The absolute worst nightmare that would ever come into my life. And I promise you, at that moment, I would move heaven and earth to the best of my ability to find that little girl. I would call the authorities. I would call whoever I could. I would call all of you. I would get as little sleep as necessary and spend every waking breath that I have until she came home. I honestly can say that that's what I would do, and any of you would do the same thing as a parent. That is a picture of the way God feels about people who are lost and away from Him. It is His dream to find them and to reclaim them and pull them back. That is His dream. Now, here's the kicker, and this blows me away every time I think about it. Let's go back to 2 Corinthians. Okay, look at this. 2 Corinthians 5:18. And He has given us, us, the work of making peace between Himself and other people. Okay, think about what that's saying. The one dream that He has above everything else, to bring people to Him, He can't do by Himself. And we know He's already done the work on the cross through Christ. The gift is there. But somehow you and I are a part of the work of bringing people to Him, and there is nothing greater than that. Can you imagine that? You and I are a key element of fulfilling God's dream. I don't know how you take that, but that blows me away, and I can't believe He trusts us to do that. But He does. And it's amazing. Now, let me just say this. Okay? One of the things about, going back to children, one of the things about children is they will ask why. They'll ask why questions. They'll tell them to do something. Why? When they get to a certain age. Well, because of this. Why? Because of this. I remember one time we had this conversation with Christians. Like everything was why. I explained it. Why? Okay? It's an amazing thing. And if I were to ask you, why Networks Church? Why are we doing this? Why do we gather on a Sunday morning? Why do we gather in life groups? Why do we do all this stuff? Some of you might answer like, Networks Church, we gather on a Sunday morning, we're worshiping God, we have life groups, we get together, we do things together as a church, it's a good thing, it helps us out, it's fun to hang out with people, we do this, and you might answer that way. And I would say, actually, that's wrong. That is what we do. That is not why we are. The reason why we are is because of this issue of fulfilling God's dream. The reason why we exist is to help people reconnect with God. Or connect because they never have been before. It's fulfilling God's dream. That is why we do this, okay? And I want to just share with you something, and just share it from the bottom of my heart, as just as honest and openly as I can, is that one of the things that I've noticed is that this church is incredibly unique in that mission. And that really is the mission of every church, but we're very unique in this regard, is that we have a couple of things that I don't see happening out there a lot. And we talk a lot about relationship. How do we connect people with God? It's through relationships that are are real. Okay, it's not through just giving them something and walking away. It's about being with the person, walking through life, and living it out real so that they can get a picture of what it means to be a Christian. And by far and away, all the studies that have ever been done about people coming to Christ and being reconciled to God, it happens, how do you know God? Through a close friend or a relative. Through a close friend or a relative, by far and away more than anything else. What does it say? Relationship. Unfortunately, not a lot of Christians do that. They just kind of go in, say a few things, hope they get it. I've done my good deed, I'm out. And then go back to life, okay? Another thing that we have that's very unique is we talk about being life-giving. And what that has to do with is that means that we have something that is not our own, that comes from Christ. And we understand that we're not better than anybody else, but we just know where the goods are at. And we do it in such a way is we don't care who comes in here. We don't care the baggage you've got. We're going to give you the life of Christ, and that is it, period. Bam. We call it life-giving, okay? And we do that because we see that's the way Christ was. Now, I want to share this, and I thought this guy was going to be here today, and I was going to even have him share if he was. He's not here. I've told you all the time about my friend Ian at the coffee shop. And I have this coffee shop friendship with this guy. It's the only place I ever see him. And I remember that the first time I met him, he was so far away from God. He hated God. And he was just amazed when he found out I was a Christian because he actually liked me because all the other Christians he's met, he hates them. Okay? And last night I was going and getting ready for today, and he was at the place. He was at the coffee shop. I sat down and I thought, man, I just need to sit down and hang out with this guy for a while. I sat down there, we were talking, and he was telling me about some of the stuff he was struggling with in life. And oh, by the way, he gave his heart to the Lord at this church a few months ago. Okay? And I'll tell a little bit more about that in a second. And I was sitting down with him talking. He was sharing, opening up his life to me. And I was like, maybe this, what about this? And he opened up to me and shared with me something I want to share with you. Because it describes this. He goes, you're the first person. And he said, your church is the first church I've ever been at to where they made it to where I understood who Christ was. And I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said. He said, everybody's tried to tell me, but nobody's ever showed me. And I was like, whoa. Guys, that is huge. Okay, keep in mind, this is the guy that hated Christians. All he had to do was see what it was like. What did he see? He saw relationship. He saw life-giving. And he saw it in you guys. He said, the only reason why I came to your church is because I liked the way that you work. And then when I was at your church, I loved the way the people at your church were. And he goes, and I run into them all the time. And he said, who's the guy with the long hair? And I go, Shane. He's like, yeah, Shane. He goes, I ran into him somewhere. He goes, man, he's a cool guy. I really like him. And I thought, this is huge. This is powerful. What he was describing was what we have unique at this church. Are those two things, relationship and life-giving. Guys, I don't know about you, but that's significant. That is significant. Come on, can you give God a hand for that? I mean, that is one guy. That is one guy right there where people see his face in heaven because you allowed shelter.